basement where it's in the basement where the grappling mats are,
Yep.
uh, and
Yep.
then the platform, and then the like extra space on the side. So basically, we were doing stand-up boxing, a little bit of grappling, battle rope station, a jump rope station, squat push throw, dynamic like slam ball, like it was just the whole area. So I literally had to move like everything out of the way, and I knew it was gonna be so tight, and I was
Sure.
down, like ran home, shoved some food down my throat. Look at you, and I'm like, I'm not sitting in the dungeon today. That's some dude. That's some good stuff. I like their rye. Have you had that rye?
I haven't tried it.
Oof. It's a
I'm
little.
so I'm so off, like from even touching booze. It's been like since Vegas. Obviously, I wasn't too long ago, and I didn't overindulge them. But I'm just like, it's not calling my name. It's like I'm looking for special occasions, and this was a good special occasion, right?
I like that. I
Yeah,
like.
I'm like, I don't. I just like I want to sit down with you sometime if we can ever find the time and like do a bottle of Yugadile,
Oh, oh,
right?
it warms my heart.
It's supposed to warm your heart. That's the whole idea.
I showed you what I got over there, right? The
Yeah,
Ardbeg
you
bottle I
did.
got,
Yeah.
the Hypernova.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
Oh,
fantastic.
I I I don't
Are you
think
looking at it?
yeah, I am. I don't think I want to open it.
I mean, listen, Elizabeth and I still have 5 bottles we haven't touched. They're just sitting. We've had them for 3 years now. They've just been sitting.
Yeah, I mean, and it's such a beautiful bottle with the hologram. And I looked it up. It's hefty, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I think I kind of want to hold on to it. I don't know if it's worth $600 for me to drink it.
You know, it ain't going to get better because it's not aging anymore.
No, I know. But I like as soon as I crack it, I think I'm gonna be not disappointed because that is such an incredible smoke. Um,
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
the smoke is off the charts on that one, but I just
Then
I
don't crack it.
I know. I think I'm going to be not disappointed, kind of like sad, right? That it's like I just broke into it and now I have to finish it. Like I'm going to have to get rid of it by consuming it. And that part makes me sad for the fact that I would have to go all the way back to Isla to get another one.
See, that's why you just never open it. I mean, there's a couple of bottles upstairs that we might never open. It might be one of those things that like our kids are like, "Holy shit, look at this!" My dad had 2 bottles of fucking Scotch whiskey when we went to on our trip because they were
Yep.
there, right? And
Yep.
and then those two are gonna look at it and be like, "Yeah, if something bad happened, right?" Or maybe when I crack off at 90 or whatever it is. But it's like those two will be like, "Why don't you take one? I'll take one." And we'll just keep it as an heirloom. It's an heirloom piece. That's what it is.
It 100% is.
Yeah.
And even like my Octomore that I've got in the case,
No, you drink the fuck out of that.
dude, I
Because you
don't
can buy
think,
that anywhere.
but it's so beautiful in the
It
tube.
is.
It's so
Yeah.
beautiful in the tube. Oh
Yeah.
man. Okay. And then you know what? I do want to crack soon though, and I want you to try a little, is my Lagavulin six, no, it's Lagavulin 12 in the Añejo barrel.
Oh,
Have you seen?
interesting. Okay, I haven't seen that. No.
Oh, buddy. Like
Because
you
Lagavulin 16, if like I'm out and and I know they're not going to have Ardbeg, but I know it's like, a nice restaurant. It's like, what do you want? Oh, I'll give you an example. We're in Vegas and we ate dinner at the Dawn, right? Which is, whoopity doo, the Dawn, but it's supposed to be the Fountain Blues version of, yeah, the mob. And so it's an Italian restaurant of that style. Hyper expensive. Everything's a la carte, whatever. We didn't care. But at dinner, I looked at their Scotch selection and they didn't have Ardbeg, Ugadile. They had their Ardbeg 12 year. That's not what I wanted. And I forget get the name of it. So I went to Lagavulin. And right when I ordered, I was like, I'd like not Lagavulin neat. This is like my dessert. And the server just, these servers, they're pros, right? He's like, wow, great choice. I was like, well, thank you. So yeah, Lagavulin, my friend, is the tits.
That 16 is really hard to beat in a normal setting
Oh
where
yeah, totally.
right, like I think that one is about as good as it gets. And it's funny, I've seen that one at Bubbles lately.
The 16, yeah. Well, it's their common pour, and it
Yep,
a couple years ago, and I don't know what it is today. It was the number one sold bottle of whiskey in the world, Lagavulin 16
I believe it.
in
I
the
believe
world, right? So I
it's
mean, it became hyper popular like in the early 2000s when Scotch whiskey was coming back on, right after
yep.
2008, after the whole economy took a dump. Lagavulin whiskey just it was like this is from for a Scotch whiskey, not Jack Daniels is still the number one bottled sold around the world,
Right.
but yeah, Lagavulin.
I do enjoy the Lafroig
Yeah,
in,
me too.
their 10-year package. It's
Yeah,
just light. It's nothing crazy. What's funny though is Jess used to love the Ardbeg 10. That was her like numero uno. And she likes the Wee Beastie now a little bit better.
yeah, yeah. I mean, listen,
It's
they're
still
doing. Yeah,
it's got a good peat like balance with some light smoke, but it goes down fast, that
okay.
five.
I got to ask you a question because first of all, Scotch is acquired.
Oh
Very
yeah.
few people go, oh, I'm going to go right into Scotch, right? Because there's nothing, in my opinion, you can make as far as a mixer with scotch, unless you want a fucking rusty nail or some disgusting drink like that, right? Scotch,
Right.
I'll have a scotch in a water. Fuck off. You'll have scotch with an ice cube in it. Shit, right? But to then go into say like a heavily peated or an iodine based scotch whiskey, that is an acquired taste. So Elizabeth's favorite scotch, if you asked her today, said, hey, what's your favorite scotch besides the crap we brought back from Scotland? Or not the crap, the gold, she would say Oban 14, which lives right next to Lagavulin 16. It's not hyper peated, but that's where she goes first. Now she'll drink the Ardbeg that you and I like, the Yuga Dial. And she'll drink. I've got when I had the big peat, which is about a 275 retail bottle that I got from Rich. And this
The
was,
what is it?
it's called Big Pete. It's got a big
The
old bearded face on the bottle.
who that's an Oban?
No, 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 no. I don't. I forget who makes it. I can Google it here in a second. But I
Okay.
had a bottle of that, and that was bordering on not Octomore because Octomore is the top of the heavily peats, but
Yep.
it was in that Lafroig, Balmore, Islay flavor, and Elizabeth was like, "Oh, that is so good, right?" So she really likes that heavily peated iodine, and now you're telling me that Jess does as well. So where and why or how? I know where Elizabeth got it. I want to know from you where did Jess pick that up? Because that's
Uh,
not something people would go, I'm going there.
so she's always, when I say always, 15 years strong, been a bourbon and a whiskey fan.
Okay.
So that's always kind of just appealed to her palate. And I would say back, oh man, when did we first dabbled into the peaties and the smoke. I don't know, it was pre-COVID. So let's call it like 2017, 18.
Okay.
And I remember I told her, I said, hey, like I'm just gonna give you a heads up. This is going, and I'm drawing a blank on what I actually started with. I didn't start with like a heavy ppm or a high ppm, a heavy smoke. I started with I know what it is. Got it. It was the
Yeah.
Glenmorangie, however you say that one.
Lemberani, yeah.
And it was their bourbon barreled bottle.
Okay, but that's still not a peated
No,
scotch.
no, no. So, but
Yeah.
that was her first like Scotch whiskey,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I kind of said, hey, listen, this is going to introduce just some new flavors.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
I want to see what you think. And she loved it. And then I actually found that bottle for many months at Costco.
Yeah.
And I bought that bottle at Costco for, I bet you, close to a year until I finally said, all right, it's time. And I introduced her to the Lagavulin, and then it was done. Just like good night, curtains.
Yeah. It's like
She,
throw everything else away, pour me
yeah,
out.
And I was kind of like, are you serious? Because again, that is, if you don't like that rubbery, just smoke, just intense in your mouth, you like, that's disgusting. Get that
Did you
away
say
from me.
rubber in your mouth?
Oh
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
just chewing on a big old rubber. Just put your face in big O tires.
That's
And
right.
she, yeah,
You're
from there
right.
on, it was just poke. So now that's all she really wants. She doesn't want anything that's not heavy ppm or just insane smoke.
Oh, okay. But
Yep.
still, that's interesting. Okay. You know what? This is what we got to do. Our
So
next,
we're our go-tos are I'm looking at them. So again, she loves the Wee Beastie art bag, which again I like, but once I want to move up the chain, I jump to like the Ardbeg 10 or I'll do the Lafroig or the Lagavulin or an Octomore. But again, I mean, I just those are expensive bottles. And
yeah,
so like I have a hard time pouring unless I'm really kind of experiencing something. I'm not
that's
just gonna
right.
just to get a buzz. No way.
No, no, no,
No way.
no. Exactly right. And at this point in time, why even pour just to get a buzz? I mean, that's just what are we doing? Just go to bed.
I got to tell you though. So
Yeah.
I'm looking at this one. What? Oh, Buna Haben.
Oh hell yes. But the
So,
laddie is it the laddie?
dude, no, no, no. This is a special bottle. I feel like I need to grab it.
Go grab
This,
it.
all right, hang on.
Walk around your bar.
Okay. So this Buna, when we were there,
Oh,
we did a tasting. Okay.
did you bring
So,
that back?
oh yeah. Now,
Oh, okay. That might not be something that's available in the US.
oh no, this is no, just wait. So this
The
is
story gets better.
This is Toiticha Da, but the bottle, it's not Toiticha Da in here. But you can't get Toiticha Da in the States. But this bottle was the last bottle that was hand filled from the barrel.
Okay, Bunnahabhain, 2013. Hold on, I gotta put that in. Just keep it right there. I gotta look this up. Hain, and it's a 2013 Moinebordeux.
You
What
get
year?
it?
2013.
2013.
Holy Santa Claus shit. You can get it here in the U.S. Now, it won't it
No, no, no,
probably
no,
won't.
no, no,
No, no,
no.
I'm
Hang on
saying
though.
it's not. It won't be handwritten like what you have.
Well, no, no, no. Right. But like, so it's got the fill date and everything. I
Yeah,
understand. But here's the deal on this. So the barrels that they were using for the finish on these, they don't have them anymore. So the only bottles that exist that will ever exist unless they can come up with the cask to store for the final,
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
they're just circulating, right? So like
Right.
there's no new production of these. And
No,
that
I
was a
get it.
right. And that
Yeah,
was a 13. So I don't know how many are out there at a 13
quite a
that you're
few.
really
Yeah, yeah.
that you can
There's
buy.
quite a. But what you did is though, how big is it? Is it European size or is it U.S. size?
It's the European.
So it's the smaller size.
Yeah, so it's like it's not full 750, it's the
Yeah,
what?
it's a little bit
70
small.
70 CL. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. All right. So that is what you can't buy in the US. But if you can buy the vintage, the 2013, exactly what you wrote, except for the differences is somebody had handwritten what's
Oh yeah.
on there. So
Yeah, look
this
at that's
is the
handwriting bottle. It's handwriting
2013.
like dates.
Yeah. Right. But then that makes what you have super duper unique. Number
Yep.
126. You can't buy that. But what you can buy is, and I'm looking at it here. I'll take a photo because I don't know how to get this on the computer, and then I'll show you. You
What
can buy this
what kind of prices?
almost five. So that's it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's 472 at the whiskey liquor store. If you buy two, you buy more, you save money, right? But even still, Ryan, a $400+ bottle of scotch is something you only break out when it's like, hey, you just finished the training sesh with your teams and it went fucking great. And you got a couple of dudes you're super geeked out about, and you want to do a dinner with some friends or some guys or whatever. That's the only time. And
Yep.
you break out small sniffs. You can just give it like the snort. And
Oh,
then you cap
you're
it, you
you're
put it
getting
back in the
it.
box, and you put it up
Yeah.
on the shelf.
You're getting a dram. That's all you're
Yeah.
getting is one
Yeah.
dram.
You're getting a
Yeah.
sniff.
And again, then what I love is now you have a story that's always going to stay with
Right.
that,
Right.
right? So it's the story of being there in the, and I literally took, I don't even remember the name of it. So I took this device that had a little hole that I had to throttle, and it was probably, I don't know, 2.5 feet long, copper, and I took it into the bottom of the barrel and they let me try to perk it up into the tube. And then I got to take the tube around and give everybody a quick shot.
Were you blowing it?
Dude. So have you ever done that?
No.
This thing's like a 200-year-old device and
But
it's got
you weren't blowing in it, were you?
no. You have to take your finger and you got to let air in, and the air that goes in pulls the whiskey into the
Oh.
tube. And so you got to sit here and percolate it, and it pulls it in. And so she's got the cask, and she's like got it so I'm right down in the corner, and I'm
Yeah.
getting the last drips.
Yeah, yeah,
And
the bottom stuff.
oh, just crunchy. There's pieces of wood and shit, pieces of rubber.
Charcoal, tires, Firestone, baby.
Yes. It was, and that's why I was like, and so they only had 7 bottles, and Jess was like, "Babe,
Yeah.
and I'm like, one of those is mine,
Hell
for sure.
yes. Yeah, absolutely. See, that's fun. That's the fantastic stuff that become, like we talked about. They become heirlooms. I
Yeah,
think those are those. I think there's 5 bottles that we brought back of different vintages. You just can't find in America. If you looked it up, you'd find it. They'd show it to you, but it'll say like, can't buy in America or whatever. They just only sell it in Scotland. And we brought back 2 bottles of, starts with an F. Doesn't matter. And we drank one. We drank one. Something happened. Like I think maybe I think when I resigned from my last gig at the Man Cave, I think we made a drink one then, been like, she was like, this deserves celebration or something like that. But it was,
wait. Is that what you were sipping on at New Year's when we did the toast?
yes.
I remember.
Yes.
I remember.
That's what it was. I broke it out. Yes, that's correct. And so thank you. So there's a great reason having, friends around, even though we're on Zoom. And, it's one of those things like my kids were around, your family was around. Let's do a hardcore toast. And Elizabeth and I poured a splash of that. Finn Logan.
Finn Logan. Yep. Good call. Man.
I am going to look up Finn Logan right now.
Okay, so while you're looking that up, back to the important part of that conversation, which was we need to put this on the calendar. I mean,
Yeah.
I will take responsibility for the fact that this has not been scheduled. I mean, I'm busier than I want to be right now, and it's all good. We've got to ramp up, and the summer is meant to ramp up, but it's just it's a little uncomfortable right now, and the bucket is overflowing in a not so good way. So I've got 3 more weeks, and then it lightens up when all my hockey kids go back to school and my athletes go back to college. So like I'm close, but I do want to get that where you and I just we get a bottle, and again, something that we can get here because we're gonna put some hurting on it, and we just kind of get to some good places, get to some good content, and start covering some of these chats that either we're not getting to within our calls enough
Yeah.
of,
You're
or
right.
we're not even getting to them at all. Right?
Well, and I think there's so much intent, so much great intent to dive into these topics we've been talking about for easily over a year. Because we launched this. I could look back at all the recordings on YouTube. We launched, I think March was our first like you and me sesh, just talking. I think it was March. It might have been May. I know it starts with an M. So, um, and we've done, I mean, if you include this, I think this is 19. This might be our 19th recorded. And that, I take it back. We've done 18 because one of those on the YouTube page is me doing a consult for, when I was at the other office. So I think we've done 18.
But that's still impressive. And I mean, I wasn't on all those, but that's
Yeah, but like one,
I miss the Marine.
the
Um,
military appreciation. You missed
no,
that.
I missed that, but I missed your boy, the entrepreneur. Wasn't he a Marine? Army, Army Rasp guy, I think. Right? He went through
Yeah.
Ranger. What the hell's his name? Jacked, big dude, thick. Uh,
Oh, you were talking about Micah? No, that doesn't feel right.
no, 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 no. It was early on. This was like within the first like 5 or 6. Damn, what?
I'm looking it up. I'm looking it up.
He was at an office. He had like a bookshelf bookcase behind him.
Oh, that was Gabriel.
Gabriel, thank you.
That was
Yes.
Gabriel. Yes, that's
But
correct.
but anyway, sorry. Didn't mean to
No, no, it's
derail it
all
there.
good. It's all good in the hood. Let's see. CP and Gabriel. Yeah, that's right. You weren't in for that one. Yeah. Did you watch a little? Did you watch it?
I did. Yeah, I liked him.
He's good. He's done podcasts before, and I felt like the entire time he was on, and actually none of his stuff has been used in the cutout, because I even felt like he was trying so hard, and I'm like, just be you. I almost want to be like, dude, relax, just be
Yeah,
you.
dude, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah,
And like I think one of my favorite that only got a little bit of the sizzle was the Hockey Dad.
Hockey Dad was great. I love Brandon. He opened up. I agree.
I
But Randy's cut some more. He's done some more adding and stuff.
Okay, yeah, because he just to me he was 100% genuine. He opened up. He got real about stuff that is
Yeah,
just it's painful, right? I
yeah.
liked Went. I liked his persona. I liked his demeanor. His I just liked it. I liked that one a
He
lot.
he was super honest,
Yep.
and he's a guy I've known for a long time, and he was like, "What do you want to talk about?" I'm like, "Brandon, I want you just to let it out, man. Just go." And he did, and I was so just I was um so much gratification that he felt cool, good enough to. I mean, I didn't know you from Adam,
Yep.
but like it's kind of like if I introduce you, or if you introduce me, or if you say, "Hey, I'm vouching for this guy," in the right audience, obviously, right? Because you just walk up to a bunch of slugs, and it's like I'm vouching for this guy, and they're a bunch of slugs. But in the right audience, when I say, "Hey, Brandon, listen, I'm doing this with this guy named Ryan. Here's just the Cliff Notes version of who he is how long I've known him. Here's a story that you can tie into because me, Brandon. Here's a story about Ryan, blah blah." And Brandon was like, "Dude, I can't wait to meet this guy." Right. And of course, I'm sitting there like, he's not that awesome. I mean, he's not that good looking. I mean, his black and white photos don't, elicit responses.
They're
Anyway,
all fake.
they're
Come
all
on.
fake. But that's the great thing about where we are is, you know, I can name drop and I can say, "Hey, I've got this guy that I'm doing this podcast with. This is who you're going to be talking to. I'll give you a little background when we get on the horn. Are you cool with him?" Because a lot of these people just know me, and they're
Right.
like, if you trust this dude, I trust this dude. So I mean, that's earned, and we're going to talk about that. I think when we really dive into to tonight, but that's an earned experience in life. You don't pull that shit at 28. You don't pull it at 35. You're starting to create, but at 40, yeah, you're starting to be like, I can vouch for this guy, or hey, I'm going to bring this dude in. You need to talk to him, whatever, whatever. And people feel good about it. So Randy just texted us. What did he say? Well, he gave us a, oh, he's given us a whole bunch of stuff. Randy spent 30 minutes typing a text. Okay.
What's this for tonight?
Oh, it is for tonight. He's just an hour behind, or he's 30 minutes behind. I'm going to pause this. Hold on a second. I'm just going to pause this so we can both read this. Okay. I guess it doesn't matter. I am going to pause this. Yeah. I know Randy likes what he likes and I get it. But for tonight, that's
So
your backdrop.
so
I
here's what
love
I'll
that.
say. Here's why. And let me get more light. Hang on. You hold tight.
Yeah.
All right. Here's what I'll say about the backdrop for tonight. It's not about the backdrop tonight. That's not what it's about tonight. It's about the
Yeah.
content.
Yeah. It's going to be about the content. Yeah. It's going to be a heavy hitter tonight. I really appreciate your setup tonight. I know it's different than what we've done in the past. But I think bringing the rooster, the cock back. I like that. I like the mix up. I need to try and mix that into what we're doing. So I'm just going to kick us off here. This is the Everyday Alpha podcast. I'm Christian. This is Ryan. How are you, Ryan?
I'm good. I'm indifferent though about the content. I'm a little anxious. I'm a little excited in a weird way about the
Yeah.
content because I think it's going to be tough. I think we're going to have some moments that scratch and are painful. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
be excited about that because I know the importance of what we're about to dive into, and I know the value that it will bring to others, many others that are either in this season right now or will be, because we're either in it or you're going to be. None of us are going to miss this. None of us are
Yeah.
going to dodge this. And
Yeah.
so it's just indifferent.
Well said. Well said. So I'm gonna jump in on this, and I'm gonna tell a story. And it's a true story. But I'm just gonna kind of take this, and please, if you feel like there's something you want to add, jump in. Ryan, jump in. Just let's make it a two-way, obviously. But um, I think it was our 2 episodes ago. I did a military appreciation um podcast with Gary Timms and Dave Welcome. It was one of the few that you were not able to make. But Dave Welcome, a friend of mine for 15 years. Um, he and I lived in the same neighborhood. He's been my neighbor. He's been one of my best friends. Son and daughter, same age as mine, both doing the same thing. He had been working at Skyridge Medical here in town for as long as I knew him. In the last year, he moved away. He got a job in Montrose, Colorado. That's the Western Slope. Promotion, new life, new place to go. And he was sitting on his porch on June 28th, texting me and another buddy that we play golf with, and just funny stuff, TikToks, Instagrams, stuff like that. Inappropriate memes, but it's all related to just when you're a 50-year-old man and you can act like a 10th grader, that kind of stuff. He was that friend, right? It's inappropriate. There's stuff that today's day and age would cast as that you shouldn't be talking about that. But I digress. He was having coffee with his wife. He had just texted me and my buddy Mark at about 7:20 in the morning, left us a nice little, hey, guys, here's this meme, haha, and we were all laughing and going on. On Saturdays, I usually take my phone and I plug it in and I walk away from it until around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm just trying to. Saturdays, it's just whatever's happening, but it's not happening on this phone, right? So I put the phone down, and I'm sitting there in front of the TV. I actually just got done having a little morning workout, and my son comes down and he's got his phone in his hand. He's like, "Dad, where's your phone?" I said, "It's upstairs." He says, "Well, Mom's on the phone." And I was like, and his tone was off, and I kind of looked up and I was like, "Okay." And he said, "Dave Welcome died." And I'm like, my first thought was, I'm about to punch my son because that's not funny. And that's not his humor, right? Owen, he's serious, right? That's not his humor. And I said, what? And he said, mom's on the phone. You got to talk to mom. So he hands me his phone and she's on speaker and she is choked up. She's stuck. She's, are you there? And I said, yeah, what's going on? Well, I just heard from Carrie. Carrie just called me. And then she tells a 3-minute story of Carrie just called me. Dave was having coffee with Jen, sitting on the porch. He had just gotten off the text with you and he started sweating profusely, saying to Jen he was in a lot of pain and asking her, please call 911, please call 911. Dave lives in Montrose. Montrose, Colorado is about a 15 to 20-minute drive from his house to his hospital he works at. It's the closest one. So, she's freaking out. So she calls 911. The story I'm told is that the neighbor came over after some time. You have to go get, 2 acres away, go find the neighbor. He comes over with an AED and they worked on him and the paramedics who finally showed up worked on him for, I think, over an hour and 45 minutes. And he was not revivable. So 54 years old, a nurse, a cardiac nurse of all things, a great man, one of my best friends that I've had in my life. Father of two, Army veteran, combat medic. He passed away, and it has been very hard because we had just done a podcast with him, and Gary Timms and I were talking to him and laughing. If the audience hasn't seen that one, it's definitely one worth watching because there's some wonderful just people on it. And he checked out. He checked out. So we're going to
Sorry,
talk
guys.
about that.
Christian.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy. Hey, Ryan. How you doing?
Great, Randy. How are you?
I'm well. Nice to see you. How's your families?
Fast and Furious.
Yeah, I
Doing,
know.
doing good. How
They're
how how about
busy.
you guys? How's everything there?
You know what? Thank God it's good. My daughter and fiance were in town this weekend, which was great. Um, and just been really busy with a lot of things. But this is obviously a very important conversation. And did you guys get the notes I just sent?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Okay.
had to put it on pause. I shouldn't have, but I had to put it
I
on
know it's a
pause.
lot, but no, unfortunately, I can't stay today because I have an engagement. I didn't, I already had that planned, but I wanted to let you guys know that, you know, I listened to a little bit of Christian just the last, 10 minutes, and that was great, by the way. What I was saying is, what I want to do for the sizzle is since I we have the military appreciation day with the two guys, and I just thought it'd be really great just to, have just a bit in there saying, a couple weeks ago, we recorded a military appreciation episode. One of the men we featured, um, in the episode, strong, grounded, incredible human being, and a dear, close friend to mine, passed away shortly. From was it a heart attack?
Yeah.
From a heart attack. And so today's episode isn't about a guest. We're not talking to a guest. It's about taking a pause to honor the man, and using this moment to start a real conversation about men's health, the things we ignore, the signs we miss, and the cultural pressure to be tough, to tough it out instead of getting help. You know, um, and like you guys always do, honest, raw brotherhood over bravado. Not preachy, not polished, just we're talking, two men who care, you know. Um, Maybe a personal memory of the guy that you just talked about, which was great. And just like you're doing, just continue on about him. And then, maybe when it hits home, the shock, the loss, and then I just had a couple things like when you lose someone close to you like that, what runs through your head. You know, why do we ignore health until something breaks? These are just you guys can
Yeah.
do, what
No,
you
they're
want,
great. I
but
loved it. I read it. I had to read it like three
you know,
times. That's
you know,
great.
why men's silent, denial, pride, fear, you know, like let's be honest, why don't we go to the doctor? Are we too proud, too scared? Um, you know, so I just put some things together, and if you guys can touch upon some of it, this will be helpful to incorporate into the end of the sizzle, which is pretty much done. But I explained to Christian, and I wanted to let you know, Ryan, as well. I'm just replacing a couple of the interviews with some of the interviews that visually look a little bit more appealing,
Mhm.
and definitely, a little bit of the military appreciation, and then we follow up by, guys, this is what happened. But obviously, they're going to be short sound bites from what you guys talk about today. And then I definitely want to get in. Uh, I just cut down. What did I just cut down? I'm going to replace the guy in the gym that was trying to get into the military. He wanted to be in the military his entire life, and then he never made it in, which it's a great interview, but it's just so distorted.
Oh yeah, yeah. Chase's qualities.
Chase. Yeah.
Chase, and which is unfortunate. And then the
What
other guy,
about Michael Cisco? Was there anything from Michael Cisco in the
oh
sizzle?
yeah, he's
He's nuts,
good.
man.
Well, it's funny because the the newer version, like I have these hero shots of you guys, and I told her to put hero shots for the guests. He looks so scary.
He's totally scared,
I
dude.
mean, and it's
When he
black and
pulls the
white.
knife out or
Oh
whatever
my
he's got, the
God.
trident.
It
Fucking, that's
is
like, yeah, a knife. That's not a knife.
That's right.
it is so scary, guys. I mean, he scared me. And then Topless Car Wash, although it's really great, the quality is horrendous.
Yeah, it's trash, but it's still
But
great
but
content.
still great. And I love that, like I came up with a bunch of really great titles for all the guys. So
Well,
um
listen, we could do topless car wash again with better lighting and
yeah.
video and stuff. Yeah,
So I'm gonna have it probably done by end of week with
cool.
hopefully, so if you could send me this, but you guys look good. I see you've yeah, go talk to me.
The one thing I told Christian, just because I know I'm not going to have time to close hard on this, I think this is going to be a two-part, and I don't
That's
know what
okay.
that looks like, but
That's okay.
like I just there I really appreciate your text because there's some really good questions, and I think that Christian and I this could be a 3.5 hour podcast. I mean, truly, there's a lot there, and I don't know what the best way to strike that and make it potent, but like I know my timeline tonight's limited, and I think like I don't want to miss momentum that I think we're gonna really have with some of this and these conversations and this stuff. I mean, this is real. That I don't have in my heart the same thing Christian has right now, but I have a version of it
Yeah.
that like I'm really passionate about, and the field that I'm in, that the young men I'm working with in the health and wellness road, in this longevity, in this pursuit of, health span, it's it needs to be talked about because the thing that's hitting me right now, probably the most, is when you write, is it pride? What are these reasons? Are we trying to tough it out? I honestly, I can tell you wholeheartedly, subjectively and objectively, there are people that give me a hard time while I'm pursuing longevity and health span. I get shit. I get made fun of for doing the right stuff. I get made fun of for eating a salad with a piece of salmon on it instead of a greasy ass burger. I get made fun of for not having a 19th drink because I went to Waters it's just crazy to me. There's a cultural paradigm here that needs to be brought up because I think a lot of men are insecure about it, and they need to hear more men go, listen, I don't give a shit what you think about me. I'm taking care of my health. I'm
Yeah,
looking out. And It's not easy waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's not easy to choose the option that doesn't taste as good on the menu. All of this stuff, like I think the more that that gets out, the more it's going to help men uncover that insecurity and go, you know what? Like, I'm on board with that. I like that mindset. I like that approach. And I feel good that there's more men out there that are trying to live that. And I don't feel like I have to be, again, the tough guy who goes, whatever. I'll sleep when I'm dead. Well, no. Prioritizing sleep is a critical part.
Not if you die at 54.
See,
So,
You know,
first of all, I love what you just said, and I appreciate that. And this definitely needs time. But if you guys can, I know you don't have a lot of time, but just for today, just get in the fact that, to your point, Christian, when you talked about, listen, a couple weeks ago, we did a military appreciation day.
yeah, I've done, you missed that. I was doing that right as you were logging on. I was finishing that, but I'll do it again.
Well, no, if you feel like it had a lot of energy, but just, like maybe quick, just so it ton of energy really quick. I know it's really sensitive and emotional, but I think it'll be really great to be able to say, look, you know, my buddy, just passed away, and um just that one part of what I said about,
Yeah.
this is about him, to honor him,
Yeah. I got it.
you
Yeah.
know. Um and then we can maybe schedule another day, because I think, to your point, Ryan, it's very important. And I think that, we could do, maybe 3 episodes on this topic alone.
Yeah, we totally could. Well, I mean, it would just, we'd have to carve out 3 hours. We carve out 3 hours and we got it all.
yep.
Yeah, exactly. So, but definitely, whatever time you have, I know you're on at times, and I totally get it. So just whatever you guys get, that'd be great. And then I'll go through it, clip it out, and I'll get it to my editor and let her know what I need to do. So,
Cool.
um, it's good to see you both. I see you're back where you first started, Ryan. You're back.
It's a long story. I had to bring the cock back tonight. I'll explain more later. It's a long story. My studio's a fucking combat zone right now.
I'm sorry. Well,
It's okay. It was a bunch of kids that thought they were tough, and I had to show them they weren't.
amen, brother. Amen. I love that.
Awesome.
Okay, well, just celebrate life, enjoy your evening and your family, and we will be in touch. I spoke to Christian briefly just about the agreement. I'm going to send you back another version.
Yeah.
We're going to just put in comments, like, there's something we've changed a bunch of things, but just what some of the paragraphs mean, so it'll be a
Good.
little easier.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so I'll get
Thank you.
that to you as well.
Yep. Thanks,
Okay,
Randy.
All
great
right,
seeing you
Randy.
both. Okay, take care.
All right.
See
See you,
you.
man.
Bye.
So I'm just going to dive back into that again. I'll make it short and sweet. Cool.
Great. I thought you
Yeah.
did great, but send it.
Yeah. So welcome to the Everyday Alpha podcast. We are kicking off kind of the end of military appreciation. I know that was last month, but it always carries over. I just want to bring to your attention and just the listeners and viewers' attention. A couple weeks ago, we did a full military appreciation podcast with Gary Timms and Dave Welcome. Ryan, you weren't able to make it, and Dave Welcome, a good friend of mine for the last 15 years, he passed away. He had a heart attack on his porch, chatting with me and my friends. Obviously, it didn't happen when we were chatting, but not too long afterwards, I was notified by my family members on a Saturday. I put my phone down, which is good therapy, and they had to come find me and say, "Hey, Dave Welcome passed away." It's tragic and sad. He's a father. He's a brother. He was a son. His father passed away from the same exact ailment, which, again, when we throw into the gravity of the situation, we could talk about that, Ryan, for 30, 40 minutes, an hour if we really needed to. But he left behind a wonderful woman named Jen. She's a fantastic wife. They were from Long Island, New York. The culture of Long Island is just so homey and friendly, and so much love. A son of age 18, just graduated high school. Looks like he's going to be going to college, possibly out in Grand Junction. Don't know what he's going to study, but he's starting his early manhood. And a daughter, 22 years old. I believe she is a speech pathologist. She's a heavy hitter, man. When she finally gets to where she's going to make waves. The boy's going to make waves too. I mean, they're both raised well, loved, great community kids, great community family. So tonight's conversation really is a salute to Dave. Um, Keep him in our memories, keep him in our minds. But really, it's kind of a waking moment. It's an eye opener for us to dive into. It's going to be hard. It's going to be a tough conversation, and I'm not trying to do this on the heels. I'm not trying to take advantage of a tragedy, but really, I really felt like it was an opportunity for you and I to dive into what is men's health and what does it look like when you're 40? What does it look like when you're 50? What does it look like when you're 60? And we're not going to get into that deep of it, but we're going to touch on just kind of the wake up call that I just had. You're having, you're knowing about it. I know I've chatted with you briefly about it, but we're going to talk tonight about how do we honor Dave and how do we talk about what do you do when you're 40? What do you do when you're 50? And how do we expand upon that? How do we take that to the next level? So that's what we're going to do. It's going to be raw. It's going to be honest. It's probably going to end up being 2 or 3 full sessions because this is an important topic. So that's what we're going to do tonight. So this is what I'd like to do, if you don't mind. I've been working at a new healthcare office, and people who know what I do, I do. My physician would say functional health at the varsity level. We're doing a lot of really, really cool stuff, but we talk about how do we manage your health and how do we make you feel better permanently, not how do we give you medication to bandage the wound. And a lot of these wounds are self-inflicted, and the self-infliction is diet, it's lack of exercise, it's culture, it's ideology, it's the pressure of a group saying, oh, we're going to go out drinking tonight, or hey man, we're going to, every weekend we're going to do a pig roast barbecue. I don't know. I'm throwing little things out there. But what we're doing at the office that I work at is we're talking to men and women about their health. And we're talking about what they need to do to be healthy. And we really, our age group right now is 35 to 55. And actually, I've got some even older patients that are trying to biohack and get older and older and live longer and longer. So let's dive into men's health. Let's dive into a couple of stigmas. Let's dive into the things that we need to talk about. And at the end, I think what we should do is we should throw out 2 or 3 things that we would recommend to our viewers of things that what should you have ready to go, or what are the things that you should know, or what are the things you could change right now. So I want to just launch it then back over to you. Give me some feedback and let's rock.
Man, so Christian, thanks for the incredible intro and emotional time for you. I've been in your shoes, unfortunately, with some close friends in the military, and it's never easy. But we deal with this, right? And none of us are going to dodge that bullet, whether it's a close family member, a close friend, and they're all hard. They never get easy. So I just appreciate your courage, and I appreciate us doing this because today it's not about the guest.
It's not. That's right.
It's to honor Dave, and it's to bring some light to a topic that is extremely broad. It's extremely general because that's what it needs to be. I don't think I have the energy to go specific to where it affects 5 men out there. I want it to affect everybody. I want men to know that there's a few tiny, simple, easy implements in their life. And you and I both have so much drive and determination and passion for men's health and the longevity and the health span and lifestyle modifications that they are tough. They are challenging. None of them are really easy at the end of the day. Again, whether you talk about exercise or nutrition or lifestyle choices. But it's something that we're all really dealing with. And I'm just excited to dive in today. To your point, I think this is a multi episode topic that I don't want to dissolve early, and I want to get it the credit that it's owed. So, listen, I think as a mid-40s man with two kids approaching double digits in age, yet a man who has been in the industry working with clients of all ages from, I mean, one of my youngest clients back in the day, this was back in 2010, was 8 years old. He
Eight
was
years old. Some parent put an 8-year-old underneath your
an
wing.
8-year-old hockey player who
Fantastic.
had no business being in a
That's like
gym.
hockey dad. It's hockey dad.
It's the hockey dad.
Yeah.
And, and it was one of those, relationships that has grown with the family. Believe it or not, that kid's older brother just graduated from college and is going into dentistry school through the military.
That's
I had,
fantastic.
yeah, I had a
Yeah.
conversation, Logan, shout out, had a conversation to Logan. I'm meeting up with him again. I mean, just a relationship that was built and has remained. And me and his parents are really close. But my point being, 8 years old up to I have a 73-year-old world champion cyclist who has done the tour many years. He's got world records that he holds. So,
Fantastic.
you know,
83 years old.
right? And
That's
it's like
fantastic.
I've got this spread, and my heart for every single individual within those age ranges is how can we help you make better decisions? How can we help you be a better man, be a better young man? How
Yeah.
can we help
Yeah.
you be more confident? All these things, right? But when it comes to this tragic story about a close friend who left way too soon, we got to talk about this stuff because
Okay. Yeah.
it's too early and there's too much out there that can prevent or help prevent the potential and the possibility.
Okay. I'm going to grab this right now. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab this. So 2 years ago, I was having, I think it was 2 years ago, I was having heart issues. I was having AFib.
I remember.
And yep. And it was scary. And when I first had it, that it really scared me, sitting in my couch, and I looked at my wife and I said, I'm fairly alarmed. And she looked at me, she said, what? I said, I'm fairly alarmed. I'm having a anxiety attack. My heart rate is ripping. I mean, I can't even count my heart rate, Elizabeth. I said, I'm freaking out. She says, what do you want me to do? She says, do you want me to call 911? I said, yes. Hold on a second. I called Dave. I called Dave Welcome. Okay. This is my friend who just passed away on us. But who did I call? I called Dave because Dave was my resource. Dave was my rock. He was in healthcare. He ran a cardiology program at Skyridge Medical Center. Throwing a shout out to Skyridge, but I'm really throwing a shout out to Dave. Dave was that trusted confidant. I called him up. Dave, this is what's going on. These are my symptoms. He asked me about 5 questions. He says, you need to call the ambulance right now and get to the ER. I said, what if my wife takes me? He goes, seriously? And I go, yeah. He goes, get your ass in the car. I will call ahead to Skyridge so they'll know you're coming. So got in the car. We drove the 15 minutes to Skyridge. Obviously everybody would say you should have called the ambulance. Well, we got there, and here I am today. So we got there. They checked us in. They were waiting for us. They knew we were coming. They immediately put me on a monitor, and we went through the process of treating AFib in that ER. And again, that was Dave. Dave was the one who pushed me for that. Then not too long, maybe 6 months later, I had another episode at work. And again, I didn't call Dave because I had 2 ER docs around me, and they said, we're taking you over to the hospital. They dropped me off at a different hospital, did all the same tests. We resolved it. And really it came down to, and I can hear Dave's voice echoing in my ears. And Dave was one of the few guys who called me Chris, right? And he would say in his kind of in New York accent, not Boston shit, in his New York accent, he would say, Chris, you've got to get this checked out. Chris, I've got a great cardiologist. I will help you get it set up. And he held my hand and he forced me into and out of my brain stigma of I don't need this. I'm fine. No, I'll be good. Dave was the one who talked me into going to the cardiologist. So I went to the cardiologist that Dave recommended. This guy he did his job. I was resistant to him. He was younger than me by almost 20 years. I was put off by his youth, and he wanted to push meds around, around, around. We went with that. However, he said, we need to have a scan. We need to get a cardiac CT of your coronary arteries. He said, that's the only way we're going to know if we have a ticking time bomb happening. I can't give you any more meds. There's no diet. There's no exercise. I need to know what's going on with your heart. So I buckled down and I said, fine. And Dave was pushing and pushing and pushing. And he was calling me. He's like, did you get your scan? I said, it's scheduled. He goes, great. And then after the scan, how did it go? Well, I don't know. I don't have the results yet. I'm going to call Dr. whatever his name was. I forget his name. And I'm like, okay, Dave, we'll find out. Dave found out before I did. He calls me up. He's like, hey, I need you to call the cardiologist. Your results are in. I'm like, what are they? He goes, I can't tell you. I'm like, what? Obviously, he can't tell me, right? But he's like, I'm telling you, call him and get it read. So I'm freaking out. So I call him up. And the wonderful thing for me was that my coronary arteries were clean, and clean to the point to where the cardiologist, who's a big pusher of meds, said, you don't need to be on a statin, and you also don't need to be on any kind of heart blood pressure medications. I was taking a product called metoprolol. It's a beta blocker. It just helps govern your engine. And he said, you don't need to be on them. He says, your coronary arteries are clean. So what a relief, right? And then, I started working on what else is the problem. And we'll talk about this maybe a little bit later, what my problems were, but stress and electrolyte imbalance can cause your heart to freak out when you don't know it.
I can tell you what your problem was. Your problem was back at the beginning, which is I'm fine.
There's that too.
That was your problem.
Yeah. There's no doubt about it. There's that too. Oh, I'm fine. Oh, it's like 220, but I'm fine.
That's the issue, right? That's why this is so important to discuss. This is the
message.
Because the message is you don't have to be tough. You're not tough. You don't have to ignore the signs. Why are you not paying attention to the signs? What is the fear? What is the cultural message that's going, hey, you don't need to worry about that? Or, oh, that's like, real men don't do that. Real men don't go to doctors. Like, This is the problem, right? And you subjectively and personally dealt with that, and luckily had a great man who had a crown in medicine. Right.
So how many real men are lucky enough to have a cardiology nurse who's living 2 houses away? Yeah. Of 330 plus million people in America, and half of them being men.
Yeah.
Less than 1%. So small, right? So I am so fortunate to know Dave. I am so fortunate to have his wisdom. I'm also fortunate to have his leadership and for him to put a boot in my ass. But again, there you have it right there. What's the boot in the everyday average, everyday alpha? What's the boot in the ass of that guy to say, stop it, go talk to a cardiologist, even if you completely disagree with Western medicine, because there's a big hammer on today's Western medicine. Go to that cardiologist and say, I need to get a cardiac CT done of my heart. I need to know. And if they say, well, it's not covered by your insurance, spend the money.
And just for listeners, so I do this yearly, and it's $100 at your local imaging center out of pocket. So if it doesn't get covered by insurance, round up $100 and go get your scan done.
Ryan, even if it's $1,000 to get a cardiac CT, spend $1,000 and know what that reading is. Then spend another $250 for that radiologist to spend an hour reading it, so you have the results, and then take it to whatever doctor that you want to take it to and say, this is my results. Please help me understand this. And really this becomes a referendum on the fact that we're sheep, and we've been herded in the American society to think that healthcare is insurance-based, insurance paid for. It's all covered. Your healthcare is good, but it's not. I'm telling you, if you don't have a reason to get that scan, your insurance will never pay for it. What's the reason? I was admitted to the ER twice. That cost me over $2,000. Those of you who are listening, would you rather spend $2,000 twice total at an emergency room? Or would you rather just go to that cardiologist and say, how much would it cost me to do a CT scan? Oh, $900. Great. Here's my credit card and get it done. I know I'm beating a dead horse here between you and I. And I know we're trying to like be like this public service announcement, right? But the reality is I was lucky. I was lucky because I didn't have blockages. And you know what? Dave did. But I was also lucky to have Dave kick me in the ass and say, get in there and get it done. And I did it. We're not all lucky. So here, the Everyday Alpha podcast, Christian and Ryan can be that boot in your ass. If it's anybody's watching this, my wife's cousin Saul, hockey dad who's aging into his 40s, Gary, my buddy who was on with Dave, anybody who's listening, it comes down to this. Don't be stubborn. Don't think that you're a man and you're tough because I'm an alpha, I'm a man. No. If you want to be around, know what the hell's going on with your body. Before you change your diet, before you get back in the gym and have Ryan beat your ass in the gym, before you meet my sister and she kicks your ass up and down about your nutrition, before you do any of that, know what the fuck's wrong with your heart. Okay? Because if your heart's a wreck, there's a whole story that's going to come out and say it's time to wake up. And let's not wake up late. Let's wake up now.
Well said. Well said. And listen, it's part of this problem is waiting until something's broken, right? And listen, I mean, you take Dave, for example. Maybe there were some undetected, maybe there were some blood lipid profile signs, maybe there were some genetic pieces, right? I mean, they're there. We all have them, but they're so easily ignored. They're so easily covered up. They're so easily just maybe even denied until something breaks. But the point is, something breaking doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be fixed 2 hours later, the next day, 4 months later. That break could be the final break.
Yeah, that could be your car just got totaled.
Like this is what's concerning to me is the medicine 2.0 mentality that has sucked the majority of men and women into, hey, just wait until something's broken. Wait until you have sharp pains in your chest. Wait until you're bleeding out. Whatever it is, instead of a sign or a symptom that only you know, and you go, it's nothing. How do you know nothing?
I got to tell the listeners and the audience this. I've been in healthcare since 1992. I've been in emergency and trauma. That's been the core of what I've been doing, whether it's combat medicine, trauma medicine, just base emergency and trauma, and then ICU-based medicine. I'm going to tell you this right now. We have the most amazing reactionary, let's fix it, healthcare system in the world. What we don't have, and this is for the 50-year-old, the 40-year-old, the 35-year-old who's got a little bit of pooch because he's been drinking a lot of beers and eating hot dogs and burgers. We suck at fixing the problem that's about to happen, but we're great when it goes astray. Boy, I'll tell you what, we can catheterize your heart. We can TPA your stroke. We can cut you open and sew your liver back together. We can fix your bones when you get rolled over in a car accident. We're fabulous at emergency and trauma, but where we suck and where we've lost our way is let's not get to that point.
So listen, so this is such a beautiful tee up. The listeners need to know, okay, well, what does that mean? Right?
Yeah.
Because there's probably a lot of listeners who haven't heard that message, but for the listeners that have and are ignoring it or have never heard it, what does that mean for them? That's the important question, right? Because it makes sense, hopefully, to most people, what you just said. But well, then what do I do, Christian?
Yeah, that's okay. So what do you do? Well, you need to basically figure out, one, how do you feel? Right? I don't feel very good. I don't sleep very good. I'm not interested in my wife anymore. My sexual desires are down. I look down and I can't see my belt anymore. I can barely see my knees. Okay. So those are the kinds of things that like that didn't just happen overnight. So if you're 35 to 55 years old and any of those three things, four things go, yeah, I got that. I hate to admit that, but I got that. Then the alarms need to be going off. So what do you do? Where do you go? This is not a PSA for going to your doctor, going to a cardiologist, going to an interventionalist, going to, a naturopath. It's the awareness of I need to figure out, I need to go somewhere. Okay, so where do you go? You could ask your local gym trainer. Those dudes and gals are pretty high up on fitness and nutrition. You could ask your primary care physician if you have them. You can ask a trusted neighbor who might be a cardiac nurse. Hey, Dave, I don't know what I'm doing, but I know I've got this 30 pounds of shit around my waist. What would you recommend? There's plenty of places out there, and for us alphas who think we're alphas, who can go, okay, yep, all right, who do I ask? Start there.
Here's where I think we're maybe even getting too far down the road, is that most men are gonna struggle to even do what you just said. They're going to struggle to go up to that trainer at the gym. They're going to struggle to find someone who has a medical background or a medical professional role right now. They're going to struggle to go and say, hey, help me.
Yeah. Well, then
I need help, right? And so again, my view on this is, all right, let's step back even further and say, listeners, do you know the last time you had an appointment with a primary care physician for a physical? And I ask this because I have a close friend who hasn't had a physical in 15 years, which means he's not seen a primary care physician. Now, there's not a lot of people that should feel guilt or shame about a conversation with a primary care physician that includes, hey, I need some help. Can you give me some answers to these questions I have? Like, if you can't get to that level, then maybe this information isn't even for you. But I want to believe that you can get to a place where you can go to a primary care physician who's professionally trained to answer your questions and say, it's been 15 years, I'm in my 40s now, and I'm not eating how I should eat. I'm not exercising the way that it's broadcasted everywhere. I mean, you can't miss the exercise recommendations. You can't miss the nutrition recommendations. So I'm not doing either one of those. Can you help me out? It starts that simple. And Christian, this buddy of mine, I have sent my doctor, who I've gone through two different, and now I'm with a functional medicine physician, concierge style, as my true primary. But I've sent him all three of those physicians, and he has failed to go see one of them.
Do we need to pick him up, put a bag over his head?
Well, the message I'm hearing about what Dave basically did to you, boot in the ass, is what I'm looking at in this situation. But here's my deeper concern is, why do so many men need the boot in the ass? What is going on with this?
Yeah, culturally speaking, in the United States of America, we have been taught in all of our little subcultures, because America is not a culture, it's a mass amalgamation of subcultures. And so what's happening is we have this alpha male ideology that rolls with the idea of, I don't need to ask for help. Let me give you a quick example. When I was in the military, I was out at Camp Pendleton. I was 20 something years old, early 20s. Bunch of Marines. There was about 45 people on this helicopter. We came ripping in real hot and fast. We were training, right? It wasn't war zone, but we were training. We come ripping in, and that CH-53 lost lift. And we dropped, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 extra feet, hit the ground really hard. Ouch, my back, compressed, right? Smash, a big, gigantic helicopter. And of the 40 some people on that bird, only 4 of us actually went and saw a doctor, me included, one of the other corpsmen who was on that bird, and 2 Marines. Now, the culture, I'm just going to use this culture, the culture of the Marine Corps is, don't go to sick call, don't be that guy, push through, power through, power through. only 2 Marines of the 40 plus people on that bird went to sick call that at least I know of, that we documented, because our battalion aid station was a mile away and we ran sick call for that entire crash, right? Come in, let's document, let's be seen. So fast forward, why is it that we have this stigma? Why do guys at 35 to 55 or 21 to 55? Well, I know why the 21-year-olds, because we're bulletproof. But the point I'm making is, to the point you're making, is why? Why? What's the cultural reasons why we don't want to talk about it? And I don't know, man, but this is the forum. The forum is to talk about this. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to bring that up.
Let's do this. Let's just throw a couple questions out there.
Okay.
If we don't have the answer, which I think I have some good potential answers, but
I
don't
got
have
hours worth of answers.
Right? I don't have the answer, but here's some questions just to consider. Okay. If you're listening, how is your physical health? Honestly, like, just evaluate your physical health. And don't ask me, well, what do you mean by that? I don't care.
Okay. How about this?
Whatever
Compare it to somebody that you know, that you look at and say, I think that dude's fit. Compare it to that. How about that? Compare it to somebody that you know. Yeah.
I love that. Why can't we start there? Because it doesn't have to be an uncomfortable conversation where we're going to be shameful about what we're asking somebody because we're tougher. No. I'm just saying, just have that internal thought and answer that question. And to your point, maybe compare yourself to somebody who you think is fit and tell me, how do you think you compare to that guy who's fit?
And then the follow-up question is this: how do you compare yourself to the guy that you see that you think is fit? And how much of his fitness or your perception motivates you to make a fucking change? That's the follow-up question.
That's the big why, brother.
Because I can look at Ryan Herzog and go, Jesus, man, the dude's had a couple surgeries on his shoulder and he can still rock out 30 push-ups without missing a beat. And he can
30.
probably, I mean, come on, I'm giving you a little more credit, maybe 25. And you can rock out 10 or 15 pull-ups, and you can do it while making fun of me at the same time, right? But I can't do that. But do I strive to that? Yeah. Do I have some whatever? But the point I'm making is, do you care enough? And where's the motivation? And where's the personal check? Because I promise you, and I've seen it for the last 4 years, talking to men, tell me, I know I shouldn't be eating that. I know I need to be doing that, but they're not. So why are they not? And that's what befuddles me.
Well, we had a great conversation. Gosh, it was an early episode of ours, maybe episode 3 or 4. We talked about this idea that we know we're doing things that are not good for our health. And I always like to use health span or longevity, right?
Right.
And
right.
so truly,
the
like
ATIA,
longevity,
and
let me just, for the listeners, longevity is the length of life. Like, I live to be 100, or I'm chasing super centenarian, so I want to be 110. Okay, that's longevity. Health span is different. They're not the same thing. Health span is how the years you live actually are, right? So
right.
I don't want to live to 80, but be bed bound, sedentary from 60 to 80. That would be 20 years of poor health span. So we talked about this. And what I think is a covered up mess for a lot of people is kind of what you just alluded to. We know there's things we're doing that aren't good for us, whether that's lack of fitness.
Yeah.
Poor diet.
That's the biggest.
Poor diet.
Number 2.
Alcohol.
Number 3.
Poor sleep.
But those are all cut results of the first 3.
Well, no, but not for some people. Some people don't know that. And some people need to be taught that. But I'm throwing that as a separate category, right?
Sure. Yep.
And then just raw mental health. Okay, so just take those 5, and there's many more, but let's take those 5. All right, so when you think about your lifestyle choices in those 5 arenas, right? What are you doing about the ones that you know are not taking you down the road you want to be on?
But how do you know if you're on that road?
That's a quick question, Christian. That's a quick question. Okay, let me ask you, listeners.
Yeah.
Keep
Don't
your
ask me,
laughs.
ask the listeners.
Listeners, keep your laughs at a minimum. All right. Christian,
Yes.
pick one of the five that I just mentioned.
Okay.
Which one is your faultiest category?
Exercise.
Exercise. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's put Christian on the exercise road. You're on the exercise road, right? That's it. You're on a one lane, one way highway, backcountry road, whatever you want. But it's you, and then there's no other vehicles, and you're on it. And it's the
Yeah.
exercise road.
Yeah.
Is it everything you want it to be?
What do you mean?
Are you doing everything you want? Are you
No.
committing to everything you want?
No.
Is
And that
everything happening on the exercise road that you want?
no. And that's the point is
No. That's not the point. Why not?
yeah, there I've got all kinds of reasons why not. I I get out of work late. I want to hang out with my
Stop.
wife.
Stop. Let's go back to the first one. You get out of work late. Okay. Let's break it down for a second, really quick. So, exercise road. It's not what I want. Why? Get out of work late. Okay. So you get two choices. Sorry, you have two choices, but you only get to pick one. Are you going to stay with getting out of work late and being okay with the exercise road the way it is? Or are you going to change getting out of work late so the exercise road gets better?
No, and getting out of work late's not a real excuse, not a real reason. It's an excuse. Um, I can give you 4 or 5 more. I went to Vegas for 5 days and I haven't been able to get back on the wagon. On and on and on and on and on. Ryan. Yeah, I don't know, dude. It's hard.
It is hard. And I'm not saying it's ever going to be anything but hard. It is going to be hard. In my pursuit, my life, I think you've heard me say this. I live by a motto of selective hardship. I choose because I've gotten to a place in my life where I know if I continue to do things that are hard, it's going to harden me in hopefully the right ways. Now, back to you, exercise road, I get out of work late. You don't have to get rid of your job.
No.
But that might mean you got to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Because listen, Christian, I love my job, and this road isn't what I wanted, but this road isn't what I wanted because I get out of work late, but I want to keep my job. Great. So set your alarm for 60 minutes earlier starting tomorrow morning. Now, what's the excuse now?
Well, there's not an excuse. It's just because I set the alarm, I still have to get out of bed.
And that's an excuse.
Yeah.
Because when the alarm goes off at 5 o'clock in the morning, it's very different than you and I talking about this topic when we're both alert, awake, and engaged.
So in the end, it's talk about it or be about it.
What you don't change, you choose.
That's right. Talk about it or be about it. So, I mean, listen, at some point in time, it's going to be, Thursdays call in and let me kick you in the ass. Ryan and Christian are gonna, Ryan more than Christian is gonna fucking put a boot in your ass because you called in, and don't call in and then like push back, right? Because pushing back is you going, I don't want to do that, and then the follow up question is going to be, or the comment's going to be, then why are you on this phone? Why are you wasting our time?
Christian, listen. I love this. What we're talking about right here, I could spend the next hour talking about. I love and I am honored and I am grateful for the athletes I get to work with. I'm specifically going to center on my hockey demographic of elite studs that will most likely have the ability to play at the next level. Now, when I say next level, that could be college D1 or that could be in the NHL, in the show, okay? Now, here's what I love is I'll get a kid 16, 17, 18, 19, but usually in that 16, 17 year range, motivated, and he tells me he wants to play in the NHL.
How old? 16, 17?
Oh, yeah. And keep in mind, at 16 and 17 years old, these kids are getting drafted into the junior hockey, top tier leagues, and those are your next step into college hockey, which then your next step is getting drafted into the pro hockey, right?
Right,
So
right.
these kids,
They
they
have to go
want
into that. What you're
it.
saying, they have to, if they want it, they have to go down that road.
They listen, they want it, but here's the beauty. It's what we just talked about with you. Yes, I want to play in the NHL. Okay, I need you to do this, this, and this, and I need you to stop doing this, this, and this. Wait, what? No way. I can't. There's no way I can do that. I can't wake up that early. There's no way that I can add that much conditioning to my already busy week. And there's no way I can stop doing that because I really enjoy doing that. And there's no way I can cut sugar because, like, I'm an ice cream guy. Okay, but then you
But you
don't
ain't getting this.
get that. You don't get that.
That's right.
Right? Like,
That's it.
and why does this have to be so difficult? But this is what it is.
Yeah.
This is
That's
what
right.
it is. I don't have time after work because I get home late and want to spend time with my wife. I get it. So set your alarm for 5 o'clock. Okay, but I don't get up. Well, why didn't you get up? I'm tired. I want sleep. Okay, so you want sleep. Like, I don't think that it should be complicated, but we're making it complicated as human beings.
We do. We make it way complicated. We also put so many things in front of the easy decisions. And we say, well, I got to do this, and I had this, and last night was this. And that's just what we do. And that, again, that's culture. That's American culture. And then it dives into these microcosms of culture. What do cultural people eat, and do they exercise, and are they all culturally fat? Are they all culturally skinny? On and on and on. I mean, there's all these reasons and excuses. Really, what I want to do in the limited time we have tonight, because we're going to continue this, but what I want to do in the time we have tonight, and I know we talked about like each bringing 3 things to the table, and we've done this before in one of our other episodes, but I thought it was important that we revisit this. But this is really what I want to do. I want the one thing. I want one thing that the audience can go, yeah, I will do that, and it will ring clear in my ears. I will do that. I'd like to, in honor of Dave, what's that one thing that you'd like to share with our audiences, men aged, say 40 to 60? What's that one thing that you, Ryan, would like to say, if you're not doing this, and even if you are, I'm going to share it anyways. What's that one thing that I can't stress enough you need to do? Go.
Oof, wow, this is loaded. So this might not hit people the way that they were expecting or they're wanting, but this is where I'm grounded. This is my foundation. Daily mindfulness. Okay. And I don't care what you call it. I don't care if you want to call it meditation, if you want to call it mindfulness, if you want to call it silence and solitude. I don't really care. You come up with a name for it, but it's a minimum of 10 minutes every single day. Now, it can be broken up into 2 5-minute segments or 1 10-minute. That's it. You can't do 10 1-minute segments throughout the week or throughout the day. 2 5s or 1 10. And here's what happens in those 10 minutes throughout the day. I want you to just start to think and start to let this thing tell you what's going on upstairs. You're going to find everything you need to know about what you fear, what you're ignoring, what your wants and your desires are, what's unpleasant in life, why you're not happy, why something is broken, what needs fixed, and a lot of other stuff in those 10 minutes. If you dedicate true mindfulness to that. And here's what I mean by that. You can't sit on a lounger in front of your TV with sports playing and go, I'm going to take that 10 minutes that Herzog said for mindfulness. No, it doesn't work that way.
So where should they do it? Where should they do it?
Isolated environment with as minimal distractions as possible, so you actually can start to hear what's going on upstairs.
Yeah, that's a great point.
To the point where you can feel and hear breathing and possibly your heartbeat. Then you know you've picked a good spot.
Where do you do yours?
I do mine every morning for 30 minutes in a closed door sauna within a closed door room that has sound protection with all of the insulation. Yes, it's over the top, but I've also been doing this for over a decade in my life, and I know it's one of the most important parts of every single day.
Yeah,
That's why.
but it doesn't have to be Ryan's. It can be an extra bedroom. It can be go out into the garage, into your truck, close the door. It's quiet in the garage. It's quiet in your truck. Don't turn it on. That can be. I love that. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. That's not even
Yep.
where I thought you would go either.
I know. It's my foundation, man. It's my grounding, and the days I miss it, everything feels just like there's so much noise, there's so much movement, there's so much clutter, and
Wow.
it's something in that day where I miss it, something is off. And it's
Wow.
that.
All right. I'm gonna hammer away at this at my part, and we'll close on this if you don't mind. So, in light of the tragedy, but a reminder that if you don't know, you don't know, but your family needs to know. So, CPR and an AED.
Nice.
Spend the money to buy an AED, have it in your house. Download on YouTube how to use your AED. It'll have a card and it has 4 freaking steps on how to use an AED. If you want to bypass all that because you want to Google it or Yahoo it or whatever you do, fine, do that as well. Purchase an AED. Second, if you have kids or if you have a wife, unless you live by yourself, and if you live by yourself, I don't know what to tell you, but if you have a family and you want to be around with that family, you will enroll in a CPR class. And you will all together as a family night out go to a CPR class, 6 hours. And you will go basic CPR. I know where the heart is. I know where the mouth is. I know where the nose is. I know where these carotid arteries are. I know where these radial arteries are, right? How do I take a pulse? How do I do CPR? Because if something happens to me or my wife or my son or my daughter, you know what? I know how to do this stuff. I've spent a life doing this, but I don't know if my wife does. I know my daughter thinks she does because she's pretty smart. I don't know if my son does. So the reality of it is this. If something happens and you can't step in and do quality compressions for 8 minutes and then take 30 seconds to dial 911 and continue to do compressions, just compressions, and you have a 911 on speaker and you're in there going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and they answer and you say, whatever just fell down and he's not breathing and I'm doing compressions, this is my address. If nothing else, you are able to help circulate that blood through that body. And if you don't have the balls, the ovaries, the whatever you want to call it, to at least do that, you're doing yourself and your family a disservice. You have to know how to do base CPR. And if you're scared to put your mouth on somebody else's mouth to breathe into them, I don't know what to tell you. Suck it up, get past it. But that's what I'm going to do in the short order. I'm going to make sure my wife knows. I'll just do a class in myself. When my daughter gets back from Alaska in the next 2 days, if she's still around, we're going to do a family night and we're going to go for CPR. And it'll take me 2 hours. And they'll at least know, just do this one thing. Do heavy, hard compressions. Don't worry about breaking my ribs. Don't worry about breaking her ribs or his ribs. Crush on that heart over and over and over again. Circulate that blood. That's my message. My message is, if nothing else, you don't have to be a specialist. You don't have to be a freaking EMT or a paramedic or anything else. Just feel confident that you can give compressions. And if you can give some rescue breaths, we'll take that too. That's what I want to leave with everybody who's listening to this tonight, because that may or may not have, and I wasn't there when Dave passed, and I know that they worked on him, but it really made me think about it. The situation that you're in might be a situation you asked for, but there you are. Are you ready for it? And this is something that everybody can learn. It's not hard to learn, and you don't have to be an alpha. You don't have to be a badass. You just have to know that you could do it. And I want to leave everybody with that.
I love that. I didn't think you were going there either, but I absolutely love it. I do mine every single year. You're inspiring me to get my kids there. Jess, my wife,
Yeah,
obviously she does hers, but I think having a device at home and my 9 and 7 year old could take an AED, first aid, and CPR course
totally.
and just know just enough. And
Yep.
again, the 4 steps of an AED to have that right there, you're giving yourself the best chance because again, it scares me to hear you talk about the situation with Dave and how far they lived. I mean, we're out in the country and
Yeah.
it's not that ambulance isn't going to be to this house in 2 minutes. And
Nope.
so that AED could be the difference between life and death.
Yeah, I think that's super important. So I'm glad we were able to dive into this a little bit. It's listen, we're all part of a brotherhood. And you start being accepted into the brotherhood at different levels. And 18-year-olds, 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, you're all part of the brotherhood. And the younger you are, the more time you have to think about it to when are you going to take control of your life? When are you going to take control of how you feel? When are you going to take control of your performance? And we know we have a lot of men at my age and at your age that haven't or are struggling with it. So this is the forum. This is the place where we want you to come. This is that safe place where it's like we might razz you a little bit, but in the end, we're there and we've been there, and we're going to continue to walk this road and provide for you a safe place to bitch about it, complain about it, talk about it, open up. So that's what I'm hoping we can do here.
I love it. I love it. I'm looking forward to picking back up. I think there's more here. I think we can provide maybe a couple more of our 1-2 closes with maybe some 3, 4, 5, 6, just to again get people started. Get
Yeah.
people started, and if we can do that, we're doing something.
You
And
know, I think what we probably should, I'd like to do, and we can obviously talk about this offline and I'll let you bounce. Um, this physician I'm working for, I'm really super impressed with. Um, he has opened my mind to the reality of what we can do with healthcare. And functional medicine it's like a low level catch all of what's really next. I mean, we're doing things, and I'll talk to you offline, but I'm doing things that I've already blown my mind on, and the effects and changes in that we've had with stroke patients, with traumatic brain injury patients. I mean, the stuff that I've been part of already is I'm just blown away. But I think what I would like to do, and let's you and I talk about this, is bring him on. And we're gonna have to limit him because he's like us. He'll just he'll go for hours. And so we want to focus on topics, but I'd like to bring him on because I think it's such a wonderful resource. We'll have to make it a full-on sponsored event, meaning like we're going to be talking about the company and we're going to be talking about him and how do you get a hold of him and how do you get this information. But I don't know, we'll work that out. But I think it's so important for us and men and all of us, women too. Don't get me wrong, it's for women too. But that's what I'd like to do next.
I love it. I love it. So we closed with, I think, some really important things, and our listeners need to think long and hard about how they're going to implement that practice of mindfulness every day. And when are you signing up? Not, I'll do it later. No, no, no. Just get online, just find a local class and sign up for it.
Yeah,
And,
sign up.
and
Buy an
get that.
AED. They're under $1,000. It's $1,000 worth spent. They last forever.
I love it. I love it. So, Christian, great seeing you as always. Excited for picking back up on this. And thanks for your time tonight. Thanks for opening up and the courage
Yeah,
with
I'm
everything you're doing.
gonna I'm gonna just end with this. I love you, Ryan. It's been a pleasure. Let's keep this rocking and rolling. Um, this is something I look forward to every chance that we get to do this, and we need to do more and more and more. But this is important to me, and I know it's important to you.
Right back at you, brother. Looking forward to our next.
All right. Good night.
Good night, man.